Ladies and gentlemen, the Republican nominee for President, Donald J. Trump, and the Democratic nominee for President, Hillary Clinton.
You described kissing women without consent, grabbing their genitals. That is sexual assault.
That was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I am a person who has great respect for people. Bill Clinton was abusive to women. Hillary Clinton attacked those same women, attacked them viciously. 4 of them are here tonight.
When I hear something like that, I am reminded of what my friend Michelle Obama advised us all. When they go low, you go high.
There has never been anything like this where emails and you get a subpoena, and after getting the subpoena, you delete 33,000 emails. It's a disgrace, and honestly, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
That was a mistake, and I take responsibility for using a personal email account. Obviously, if I were to do it over again, I would not. I'm not making any excuses. It was a mistake, and I am very sorry about that. It's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Those were some highlights from the second presidential debate. Hi, everyone. I'm Elaine Quijano, live from the Spin Room at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. It was, as expected, a pitched battle. The second presidential debate featured forceful attacks from both Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump directed at each other. At the start of the debate, they didn't even shake hands. Here with me now are CBSN political contributor and Republican strategist Leslie Sanchez and CBSN political contributor and Democratic strategist Lynda Tran. All right, ladies, so let's talk about this. Heading into the night, there was a lot of speculation about what tone Donald Trump would take. What we saw just a little bit before the debate itself was that impromptu Facebook Live appearance with Donald Trump and several women who accused Bill Clinton of assault, sexual assault, certainly telegraphing the tone that he would take, not any sign of contrition, but rather sort of digging in, doubling down. Leslie, what did you think about that strategy?
It was unorthodox, was the term we used earlier today. Highly unpredictable. You don't know how the voter's going to respond. It looks erratic. It does not look very well thought out. But it certainly is something to get under the skin of of Hillary Clinton. There's no doubt about that. And they doubled down. They knew this would be the first area addressed. And it took a significant amount of time at the beginning of the debate. There was this volleying back and forth. What he did do well, which what I think many Republicans breathe a small sigh of relief, is that he did make that prosecution, the case. If you're going to go down that road, it were some really awkward moments there for Hillary Clinton, and then the camera pan to Bill Clinton, and it was a reminder for people who lived through those years. It was a lot of prosecution, it was a lot of baggage, and it was like the Clintons all over again.
Lynda, what did you think?
Well, we expected fireworks, and we certainly got them. The question is, did they actually move anyone? Because the problem with this entire conversation that we started the forum with, I don't want to actually call it a debate because I'm quibbling over whether they actually debated, the thing that we saw at the very start was really about the concern that women have. And while he definitely played to his base throughout the entire evening and really riled up the troops, what he really needed to do was connect with some of these groups that he has been having trouble with, in particular women, and in particular college-educated women. And I'm not sure that he made past that hurdle tonight.
All right. For any of our viewers that missed it, let's talk about and actually show that opening where the tape was discussed, and specifically Mr. Trump was pressed on precisely what he was saying, what he meant in that tape. Let's go ahead and listen to that. SOT number 2.
You bragged that you have sexually assaulted women. Do you understand that?
No, I didn't say that at all. I don't think you understood what was said. This was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I apologize to my family. I apologize to the American people. Certainly, I'm not proud of it. But this is locker room talk. You know, when we have a world where you have ISIS chopping off heads, where you have, and frankly, drowning people in steel cages, where you have wars and horrible, horrible sights all over, where you have so many bad things happening. This is like medieval times. We haven't seen anything like this, the carnage all over the world. And they look and they see. Can you imagine the people that are frankly doing so well against us with ISIS? And they look at our country and they see what's going on. Yes, I'm very embarrassed by it. I hate it, but it's locker room talk, and It's one of those things. I will knock the hell out of ISIS.
Just for the record, though, are you saying that what you said on that bus 11 years ago, that you did not actually kiss women without consent or grope women without consent?
I have great respect for women. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
So for the record, you're saying you never did that?
I said things that, frankly, you hear these things are said, and I was embarrassed by it, but I have tremendous respect for women.
Have you ever done those things?
Women have respect for me, and I will tell you, no, I have not.
All right, Leslie, what did you make of that answer there from Mr.
Well,
Trump?
there was a lot of pressing by Anderson Cooper to get to the point, which was really the last point. Are you this groper? Did you do this? And but you allegedly said you did do. And he said, no, I did not. But here, I felt he had contrition. He apologized. He said he's embarrassed by it. He embarrassed his family. He asked for forgiveness from his family. And he's moved through that. And if it's good enough for his family, that's really the first starting point. Are a lot of women going to say, oh, okay, it's good enough for me? Not necessarily. Do they still think he's a bit of a pig? I think some women are going to continue to believe that. But I think on that issue, he addressed it the way he needed to.
Lynda, what did you think about that? He did acknowledge bad behavior.
He acknowledged bad behavior, but he started by saying, no, I didn't say that. You misunderstood, which is classic Donald Trump. You know, the moment he said, nobody respects women more than I do, I was in the media center and literally laughter broke out across the room because it just did not ring true to what we've seen on the campaign trail, what we've seen time and time again on video, and what reports like the New York Times Nicholas Kristof story about Jill Hart suggest otherwise.
Yeah. I want to turn to another moment now. We knew going into this a vulnerability for Hillary Clinton is her honest and trustworthiness numbers. Against the backdrop of this debate, in addition to the Trump stories, the WikiLeaks and that story breaking about having sort of one thing to say in public when you're a politician and another thing to say in private as a politician. I want to play for our viewers, it's SOT number 5 control room, where Mr. Trump went after Secretary Clinton about emails, and again, these issues of transparency that have continued to plague Hillary Clinton came up. Let's take a listen.
You talk about apology. I think the one that you should really be apologizing for, and the thing that you should be apologizing for, are the 33,000 emails that you deleted and that you acid washed. And then the 2 boxes of emails and other things last week that were taken from an office and are now missing. And I'll tell you what, I didn't think I'd say this, but I'm going to say it. And I hate to say it. But if I win, I am going to instruct my Attorney General to get a special prosecutor to look into your situation, because there has never been so many lies, so much deception. There has never been anything like it. And we're going to have a special prosecutor. When I speak, I go out and speak. The people of this country are furious.
You know, it's just awfully good that someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Yeah, because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
All right, Leslie, let me start with you again. That got a reaction in the audience there, in the hall, this audience that had been admonished to be quiet. But, you know, obviously this is a sensitive area for Secretary Clinton. What did you make of that line of attack?
Well, I think to many believe that the Clintons have reacted as if there was a double standard, that the law did not apply to them. And that was the case that Donald Trump was making. And if anybody else had done that, who can do that and get a letter requesting, subpoenaing these particular emails, and then they are destroyed? Anybody else would be in a very difficult position, be court-martialed, go to jail, all these different things, and that there's a double standard happening for the Clintons. I also think kind of going back to our previous point, he also prosecuted that with your husband, don't forget he paid an $850,000 fine to one of his accusers, that he embarrassed the White House by being impeached. But it was just this litany of things of distrust of the Clintons. And here's yet another example. That is the one thread that was consistent throughout it, which made this particular debate effective.
And Lynda, in fact, that moment where Mr. Trump said Secretary Clinton would be in jail in his administration, as we're getting jostled here because we are right in the direct path of all the folks coming in and out of the spin room. But that was actually one of the top 3 most tweeted moments, Lynda. A lot of people reacting to that moment.
Well, listen, it was a good soundbite. I mean, you got to hand it to him. He delivered it with some, authority and some energy. You know, that said, I think most of this entire discussion was really about character of one side or another. So in this case, he's attacking her character, questioning whether or not, you know, the way that she handled her emails was appropriate and what that says about her. At another point, she starts questioning his character when it comes to taxes and all these other sorts of things. The problem with the entire discussion all night long is I'm not sure we ever really got down and dirty into those kitchen table issues that I think most Americans all around this country really want to hear some answers about.
We didn't necessarily get into kitchen table issues. We did get into some interesting foreign policy. And I want to actually go to a soundbite now. This is a question that was actually a follow-up question by one of the moderators, Martha Raddatz, in which she asked Donald Trump again about what it is that he would do about Syria and specifically the crisis in Aleppo. Let's play that for our viewers. It's SOT number 17.
Want to remind you what your running mate said. He said provocations by Russia need to be met with American strength, and that if Russia continues to be involved in airstrikes along with the Syrian government forces of Assad, the United States of America should be prepared to use military force to strike the military targets of the Assad regime.
Okay. He and I haven't spoken, and I disagree. I disagree.
You disagree with your running mate.
I think we have to knock out ISIS. Right now, Syria is fighting ISIS. We have people that want to fight both at the same time. But Syria is no longer Syria. Syria is Russia, and it's Iran, who she made strong, and Kerry and Obama made into a very powerful nation and a very rich nation very, very quickly, very, very quickly. I believe we have to get ISIS.
Leslie, an extraordinary moment there. Yeah, the top of the ticket disagreeing in this public way with his running mate on a foreign policy issue that has to do with committing American military assets.
I definitely think he's going to need clarification on this. I think many of us last week felt confident, much more confident in Governor Pence's response here. But this is another consistent thing. There were many things that Governor Pence originally didn't agree with on Donald Trump, from the Muslim ban to his immigration and building the wall, and certainly this particular issue. Donald Trump is going to be the top of the ticket. It is going to be his position. And if anything, I think he did drop that kernel that the spread and the incubation of ISIS under the Obama-Clinton policies or lack thereof, and creating an environment where you did see the rise of ISIS. That was a very fair point. So it is definitely going to be fact-checked on this, but it will always, the bottom of the ticket is going to concede to the top.
Lynda, what did you think of that moment?
I think it has been an extraordinarily uncomfortable week for Governor Pence. You know, on so many levels, he's disagreeing with Donald Trump, either on policy or on behavior. And I think that what it really does is draw a very sharp contrast with what we saw just a few days ago. Mike Pence was very clear about where he stood on this. Again, he's not the top of the ticket, but the contrast is tremendous. It's crazy.